Hey, this is Chris Cartaya again. A day after I came back from parents looking at houses in Fresno, and I wanted to bring up a couple things. Day after Humans vs. Zombies, early in the morning, early in the AM right now, so I haven't really gone on Facebook or read anything or anything like that. I didn't take my computer with me, so I'm a little lost in the Facebook world right now. But a couple things I wanted to bring up. Number one. The Orange ModWorks kit is not coming. Stage 2 kit is not coming out till September 24th, not July 23rd, like they originally promised. Now, I want it to be good, and it's very critical if you take a Retaliator, and if your seal isn't good on your breach, yeah, that can pretty much wreck the kit right there. And from what I understand, they just didn't have a good seal breach, and now they are modding it. Now, let's take, for example, this thing right here. 1/2 of the R-Spec Stage 2 kit. Basically, rainbow trigger catch, 14 kilogram springs, but it needs that Stage 2 or seal breach on there. Could you imagine you got a blaster like this, with this much power? You remember when and it takes a lot of power to move that back, and this is a really strong blaster. You remember, anybody remember when I took the R-Spec and I threw 12K in there, the Fire Strike? The first R-Spec Fire Strike prototype did not have a brass barrel on it. It was very quickly found that it needed one, okay? And it went from about 95 flat to anywhere between 105 and 120 flat. It was a very nice blaster, except that it was a little wild when it flew, and so the Ultra Match came out with a compound bore, and that fixed that problem. It stabilized the dart as it was going out of the 1732nd barrel. Now imagine on a Retaliator what that would do if you have that kind of power. That is what an Orange ModWorks Stage 2 kit would do. It would really, really make it much more stable, much more powerful, much more usable of a blaster. So I'm really patient for that one, and I have a lot more hope for that one than, let's say the Centurion. I have no doubts, and I attest to the fact that I have no doubts that that my last dart saw what he saw at the toy fair. I have no doubts that it was doing 100 flat. The reason I have no doubts is because it's doing about 55, 60 flat with those slits in the piston, which they went and some little Chinaman came in. Want to see that sound effect again? You'll have to call me on the phone or something, because I'm not doing it. So at any rate, I'm pretty sure that with that. Now with those slits, you cannot possibly build back pressure to that point. Why would they do that? Why would they throw slits in there and make it 100 arched rather than 100 flat? I'll give you a real good idea. One, a 1-inch dart going at 100 flat would murderize a school kid. Number two, I don't think the darts are strong enough to handle that kind of back pressure. Number three, 12 inches of airflow by 2 is 12 inches of airflow by 2 of possible vacuum. Number four, I think that they just wanted to limit it because they didn't pass toy safety standards or whatever. What this makes for us is a bitch of a problem, because now we got 2 little slits, on the bottom of this blaster's plunger tube. Plus a blaster that is, from what I've seen over video autopsies, not very fun to take apart. A lot of problems, a lot of issues. So, what are my recommendations? First off, duct tape will only go so far, but it will go. I think you can probably boost the, by wrapping it with duct tape on the inside of it, and everybody knows I'm Mr. Duct Tape, you'll probably get it from going 55 to 60 to maybe 70 or 80 flat. And that's usable for a Nerf blaster. Number two, I think the feeding system isn't the greatest, and this may be a blaster that you may want to one at a time throw in the bolt, just because. From what I've seen, at least the turkey one that basic Nerf had that I saw, it wasn't very, how would you say? it wasn't very viable as a clip fed. It was very, very touchy, very pushy, very sensitive. From what I understand, the ones that he went to the event in New York was better, but I still have my doubts. Basically, I have a plan to put the slits back in the blaster. I'm not going to tell you how. Not only that, but it's also dangerous to do, and you also have to have some kind of knowledge to do it. Oh yes, I own long strikes. I have a couple of these, but the reason you never see me mod one of these is because I'm a little bit more like been there, done that. As a matter of fact, I didn't even mod this. I traded this for some magazines with a friend in my league, you know, and it's got a pretty good spring in there, and it's pretty powerful, but it's got the standard bolt sled, so everybody knows that is not good. So, at any rate, does a blaster have potential to be a good blaster? Yes. Is it going to be hard to do? Yes. It's going to be like something in the fashion of modding a Stampede. Not a friend. See? Not a friend at all. So, at any rate, what other Nerf news is there that I have to comment on? Oh, yes. The trigger shoe in here that I had made a rainbow trigger catch. I didn't get that from anywhere. I actually saw that it needed more contact area and that the shoe needed to fit farther down, and there it was. Now, may have been on a Nerf Modders Welcome Form, or somebody else put it up somewhere else. I don't know. But if they did, I'm not going to copy it. But honestly, don't attempt an R-Spec without a really good trigger catch and a really good plunger. A really good one, okay? Also make sure that if you use an Explorer plunger, you're using a spacer inside of there, inside the front of the plunger, to make it go farther enough back to prime the blaster. Otherwise, forget it. It's just not going to work. So anyway, this is Cartaya. It's like 3 in the morning here, and I'm tired. So I will see you later. You know, the rabbits, George. The rabbits. I'm not George. I'm not George.